widens its ground offensive against Hamas. People may soon be able to recycle electrical goods through a collection from their home under new government proposals. The reforms are part of the government's plans to increase recycling, as it says 155,000 tonnes of small electricals like cables, toasters and kettles are thrown away each year. Well, joining me now is Julia Hales, author and director of Rubbish Ideas, which promotes recycling and reuse. Great to see you. Is this a rubbish idea, or do you reckon it could work?
Actually, I think it's both a rubbish idea and it should work. I mean, I think it's amazing they've taken quite so long to do that, because electrical waste is the most incredibly wasteful thing that we do. It's not only the sort of individual things that you're looking at, but it's all the raw materials that are going into it. So, for example, for 1 tonne of copper, which is used very widely in electrical equipment, it takes like 300 tonnes of waste, and the mining of copper is incredibly destructive on the environment and many of the other materials that are used in e-waste.
And of course, after Christmas, we know that all those new electrical goodies found under the tree mean that it's likely many other electrical items got chucked out. But you can reuse or recycle quite a lot of the elements, can't you, from things like toasters or electrical drills or kettles?
Well, in theory, you can recycle many more things than we actually do. So, for example, you might be using a printer in your office, and they are designed to break after a very short amount of time, and they're not designed to be repaired. So one little switch goes wrong and the printer is chucked out, and because they're very cheap to get new ones, people don't bother to go and repair them or reuse them. And that applies to millions of other electrical items and copper cables and all those type of things that we're using on an everyday level. You're talking about when people get Christmas presents and what they will throw away because they're getting new stuff. But it's also that the stuff that they're getting is just not going to last for very long. So next year they may well get another one. They're just designed to be a disposable society. And with electrical waste, this is absolutely criminal.
Given that that is the situation as it stands, I guess part of the problem is that people like the idea of recycling old goods, but they don't want to spend too much money doing it, and they don't want too much hassle. And this scheme would potentially address that. I'm
really supportive of this scheme, because I set up a sort of e-waste campaign over 10 years ago, trying to work out how to make it economical to recycle much more e-waste. And what we discovered was that most households has a huge collection sitting in drawers, old telephones, old kettles, whatever it happens to be, and they don't really know what to do with. So either it goes into sort of household waste, or it stays sitting in the drawer forever and a day. Very little of it actually reaches somewhere which will profitably recycle it. And even I, who have quite a lot of knowledge about these things, find it really difficult to actually decide what to do with the waste that we produce in our household. So I've got quite a lot that is waiting for some delivery to come and pick up. So I'm absolutely delighted that the government have recognised that this is a problem, and again to get it collected from households. The next thing is to make sure that they really are recycling it in the UK, not just exporting it, where it's very unpredictable what actually will happen.
Now, your dog doesn't seem particularly interested, but we're all interested in the wonderful backdrop behind you there. You're a master of reusing and recycling things. What have you got there you can show us that could give us a few ideas?
Well, actually, my eldest son, is actually the co-founder of Rubbish Ideas. And he is absolutely passionate about recycling, reuse and all those things. So, in fact, just behind me are a couple of things that he's produced for Christmas, one of which is some sunflowers. I love sunflowers, that he's made from recycled materials. And then he's also collects all the sort of old wrapping paper from all over the place and makes these reusable boxes. And we really don't get new boxes for our recycling for our Christmas presents every year. We just reuse his and any other packaging we can find around us. We've also got a recycled Christmas tree which comes out every year. So basically, we're pretty low waste at Christmas.
How do we do as a nation compared to other European countries when it comes to recycling and reusing things?
Well, I don't think actually we're particularly good. I mean, household waste, we do have quite a good collection scheme. of a lot of things, but on-the-go waste, which are effectively the things that you know when you come out of a fast food store or a cafe or whatever, we're really, really bad at those systems. And certainly for electrical waste, you know, it is an absolutely chronic problem, and it leads to so many different things, because it's not just the raw materials that you're digging out of the ground, it's also what happens when it ends up in developing countries on huge smoky piles of polluting waste, and then you've got children picking through that waste to try and get things, toxic materials, all sorts of problems that arise from e-waste, and we're just buying them all and chucking them away. And it's really criminal. So Rubbish Ideas is all about looking to promote something called the circular economy, which is a different way of looking at waste, much more like nature, which has no waste. So you're actually using the sort of ecosystem that we have. The raw materials are coming in, and then we're recycling them again and again and again and reusing them, so that we don't have to go and keep exploiting more and more resources from our planet, which is being destroyed very rapidly.
Yeah, well said. And you mentioned your tree. Something that struck me today was that statistic that around 500 tonnes of fairy lights are discarded every year, according to estimates. I mean, that's a huge amount of Christmas lights, isn't it?
Well, I saw that statistic too. And of course, what it means is that people are buying fairy lights, and they basically become another disposable item. The following year, they don't work. People don't realise that they've got batteries or whatever it happens to be, and off they go, and another lot are brought in because they're very, very cheap. So I think they're just, it's really it's not just the physical material, it's our whole attitude about having a disposable society and not recognising how many problems we're causing through that, and the government who are not doing enough. But today we've got that very good announcement about them doing collection from households, and let's really keep their feet to the fire, make sure that they're doing it not just for small electrical goods, for bigger ones too, and that we really have a sea change in how we think about electrical waste.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed for your time this afternoon, and we wish you a happy new year. That's Julia Hales, author and director of Rubbish Ideas. Thank you.
Okay, have a rubbish new year then.
Okay, thank you.